Thus, in Arizona, prosecutors are asking a judge to give convicted murderer Lori Daybell 2 more life sentences. She returns to court tomorrow for sentencing, and Court TV is going to be there for it all. Matt Johnson's going to be there. Daybell represented herself back in April when a jury found her guilty of conspiring to murder her 4th husband, Charles Vallow. And then in June, she represented herself again when a jury found her guilty of conspiring to commit murder in the attempted killing of her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux. Court TV anchor Julie Grant has a look back at these 2 trials ahead of tomorrow's sentencing.
The state put forth a bunch of evidence in this trial in an effort to make you dislike me, to try to attack my character, so that you would just say guilty no matter what evidence they showed you.
Lori Vallow Daybell stood in front of a Phoenix jury and attempted to convince them that she had nothing to do with the 2019 shooting death of her 4th husband, Charles Vallow.
As the state has mentioned, they are alleging that insurance money was my motive. Spouses having insurance policies is not a crime. Collecting Social Security is not a crime. Self-defense is not a crime. A family tragedy is not a crime.
No charges were initially filed, but after her children disappeared and were then found buried in the backyard of her new husband, Chad Daybell's property, Chandler, Arizona police reopened the case. Her 9-day trial involved her questioning Charles Vallow's sister, Kay Woodcock, her clashing with law enforcement, and her bullying a woman who had had dinner with Charles the night before he was killed.
Miss Woodcock, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
Okay, you're a detective, right?
Correct.
You have to look at all the angles, right?
Correct.
You don't know what happened, right? You just stated that you weren't there, right?
Correct.
On the website that you met him, did he say he was divorced?
I'm not certain.
So you spent your whole date getting to know each other, talking about me.
Don't flatter yourself. No, we did not spend the whole time talking about you.
It took jurors about 3 hours to convict Lori Vallow Daybell. 2 months later, she was back in the same Phoenix courtroom, again acting as her own attorney.
Conspiracy is an ancient word that appears in the Bible on many occasions. Judas conspired against Jesus with the chief priest for 30 pieces of silver.
Object to, unless this is being presented at trial, I'm not sure that this is appropriate opening.
This time, Lori Vallow Daybell was in court for an attempted homicide case. The intended victim, her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux.
If you thought that you had just been shot at, were you not worried about standing there in the driveway where someone could drive by again?
The person that shot at me was in the Jeep, and I had seen them leave. Of course, I was scared for my life, but I was told to go back to my house, so that's where I went.
Lori Vallow Daybell did her best defending herself and also tried the judge's patience.
If I open the door, do I get a hearing? We stop trial and I get a hearing
Stop. We'll have a very short hearing, okay? If you're going to introduce how you have great character and good character, we're going to have a short hearing on what evidence that they can bring in to rebut that character, which could include being convicted of 4 murders. So
and would you
talk to your advisory counsel during the break. And
you don't need to yell at me either.
I'm at you, okay?
Yeah, you are, and you do not need to talk to me that way. I'm very courteous. I'm very courteous to you.
No, you have been nothing near courteous to me during the course of these proceedings.
It took jurors less than an hour to convict her. She'll be back in court one more time for her sentencing. She could receive 2 more life sentences, in addition to the other 3 she's already serving in Idaho for the murders of her 2 children, JJ and Tylee, and the murder of Chad's first wife, Tammy Daybell.
Still with us, criminal defense attorney Chase Brown and chief trial attorney for the Muskegon County, Michigan Prosecutor's Office, Matt Roberts. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Okay, talking about the sentencing tomorrow, I was just reviewing the sentencing memorandum that the prosecutor submitted to the judge. One of the things that she put in this memo, she placed a text that Lori had sent Charles Vallow's sons, in which she's just saying to them, I don't know what happened to your father. He passed away. I'll let you know when I find out more information. When it turns out she's the one that was responsible for the situation in the first place. So when you put together sentencing memos like this, what's your approach to the judge when you have someone like Lori Daybell and she's been convicted of so many murders already?
Well, certainly what you're trying to get across to the judge is that this is a person who is absolutely irredeemable. It doesn't always happen, quite frankly, in prosecution work. It ties back a little bit to the Kohberger case. There are often very few people who you can actually look at and say, this is a person who just simply cannot be trusted in society, has no place in society, and their actions have given the judge no choice. And certainly with the astounding amount of crimes that Ms. Daybell's been able to rack up over her time, as well as these 2 additional convictions, I don't think it really gives the judge any choice but to impose that sentence.
Yeah, maybe we'll hear some of the same words echoed by this judge, because when he was talking about the sentencing for Brian Kohberger, he said, I cannot find anything redeemable to say about you. And it's very possible we'll see the same thing or hear the same thing from the judge for Lori Daybell. We'll have to see. Chase, what do you think?
I think from a defense side, you always want to try and find some mitigating factors, present something to the judge to mitigate why, that your client or someone shouldn't get the max sentence or get the sentence they're going to. But in this case, she is such a danger to the community. There is no bounds that she will stay within in terms of the harm she will cause. I mean, she's gone after so many people. There's really no mitigating factors that I could even think of in this case. And the prosecution has put that forward in their memorandum. And there's really no reason that she should be a member of society ever again.
Yeah, absolutely.